Hi there, welcome to the Kenny Veach Cave mystery. Today looking back at archived screenshots in regard to Really Robin, some comments made, even Sharon Pilgrim, a very questionable one, and Gene Lukowski, who claimed to be a part of the original Red Rock search and rescue crew when looking for Kenny Veach. I'm going to be bringing it all together today, but I probably will be doing some separate standalone focused videos here and there, reflecting back on some of these comments and possibly expanding. But today I just want to present it all in one go, just to share with you things you may have never seen before and for other people forgotten about, because they are old comments. Credit to Jeff Clark, who had these screenshots. When it comes to archiving and screenshots, it goes a long way. I'm quite familiar with that by now, such as with the true crime case communities. All the screenshots over there, it can be very important and help a long way when you're trying to back up evidence and do comparisons between the different things. Now, when it comes to the likes of Susan Veach and Gene Lukowski, part of the Red Rock Search and Rescue, Susan has claimed that Gene is a fake and reached out to the Red Rock Search Commander David Cummings or so, and the response was, never heard of that person before. But maybe the names do interchange, maybe a YouTube username does not match the person's real name in real life. So that's just a bit of a context, but as we've seen and heard with Susan Veach, not everybody believes in her either or trust her. So all kinds of stuff is going on. As for Driven X Adventures, it appears that he does have a live video premiere coming up in relation to the mine shaft, which could hold additional information and updates, so be on the lookout for that. I think there was supposed to be a live stream, but I guess it might be done now in a pre-recorded format, but it'll be interesting to see what happens. Welcome to those that are currently here during this live premiere. Share your live thoughts in the chat box on the right side of the screen, and feel free to drop some comments down below to let me know what you think. Are you shocked by any of the information shared, and how much do you believe in it? If you are interested in previous coverage by me and the last live stream, you'll be able to find out all available top right corner where the eye symbol is up there, with the drop down menu box, full playlist and some loose videos attached. If you want to support the channel, below in the comment section, pinned message by me, there is a PayPal link and channel membership. So the latter part of this video, we do have some additional screenshots in regard to the Chronicles of Jay Silverheels, and maybe by the title of this video, it will apply as in Unhinged Cave Hiker. It's slightly on the light-hearted side, so if you need to escape from darkness or need a distraction, make sure to stick around till the end of this video. But right now, we need to focus in at the case at hand and the important, interesting details which have been given over time. Here we are. So the first one you're seeing on screen is to do with a video in the past. Whilst the comments may say 1 month ago, that isn't entirely true. It will be years back when a screenshot was taken and then 1 month from then ago, if that makes sense. So they're not recent. So the Shape, who is the Shape? Well, a fellow YouTuber that does investigations into the paranormal, I believe, as well as debunking paranormal material from other channels and people out there. The Shape is somewhat established on YouTube. They were temporarily subscribed to my channel as well in regard to this case, but then they got a little bit petty, whingy and whiny, threw the toys out the pram and kept their mask glued onto their face. But beside that, the Shape says, why do I feel like Kenny was pressing his limits when out there? He purposely denying himself water for the rush of being near dehydration. And in that terrain, that's dangerous. I appreciate you uploading this, Sharon. I'm a debunker and I analyze videos on YouTube. So I'd like to analyze this guy. I'm knowledgeable of this case and I have been a couple of years, so I'm going to dig into it. Interesting, is that so? Does the Shape still follow the case or not? Because there's a lot that has gone on since. So I think, well, this is from Sharon Pilgrim's YouTube channel, and it could well be, more than likely, to do with the video which Sharon uploaded of Kenny Veach, that unreleased footage by Kenny when he got back to the vehicle, dehydrated, ended up drinking beer instead. I think that might be where the comment section is. But Sharon Pilgrim's response, very interesting. She says, yes, you are correct. Kenny often pushed the limits. Part of it, I think, was about the thrill and adrenaline. And I also think just seeing if he could do it, challenging. We also did calm things. I started to list some of the calm, fun things we did, but then I thought I would be taking some of the fun away from you with debunking and analysing the video. I look forward to your input of what you figure out. I'll let you know if you're spot on or just close or not close at all. I'll be watching for your input. This is going to be fun. I hope I don't miss your post. So the shape is about debunking and analysing things such as Kenny Veach, such as his hike and why he pushed himself. And Sharon's response is, well, I could give explanations, but I'm not, because then it'll make it too easy for you. This is so exciting, I'll let you guess and stab around in the dark. And if you get close, I'll let you know. What the hell is going on here? I might have done a separate video on this in the past, but this reminds me, Jeff Clark. I forgot about this, but now I'm instantly reminded. One of the most suspicious comments out there. This is not a game. It's a missing person case, and the so-called girlfriend is too focused on playing a game of hot or cold. Are you close or not? I'll give you a clue or a hint here and there, depending on what you say. This is not normal behaviour by a girlfriend. You know, in a dynamic situation like this, if something happened to the partner, the boyfriend, a girlfriend would not be talking like this publicly, let alone just in general in any way. It's not a game, it's not fun, not a good time, it's not positive, even if enough time has passed by now, it's just not a good thing to be joking about and very unusual. Now, it could be broken down and analysed myself to fully understand what's being, getting at here. Maybe I can do that for a separate video, but of course, I want to know your input on this particular comment by Sharon, the so-called girlfriend to Kenny. Drop a comment down below and let me know your thoughts. Besides that, if we move on to Gene Lukowski, who was part of the Red Rock Search and Rescue at the time, is where J. Sylvia Hills appears as well. Submarine tunnels. Although I don't make YouTube videos every day, I do hike the area. I was on the original Search and Rescue team November 2014. I've been Search and Rescue for 19 years in Lincoln, NYE and Clark counties. I've been on 215 search and rescue missions in 19 years. There aren't many areas of Sheep Range that I haven't hiked or conducted missions. Well, if you've done quite a few missions out there, especially around and near Sheep Range, how many missing people are truly out there? Because besides Kenny Veach, who is? We know of 2 locations where tunnels are located. One, the famous Sheep Pass Tunnel, leads west. That tunnel was used by the US military years ago for training. But the tunnel has been sealed off for 20 years. The second tunnel is near Mormon Wells Junction. That tunnel goes back about half a mile. BLM sealed that tunnel off a few years ago. During the search for Kenny Veach in 2014 and 2015, the USAF assisted in the search and rescue mission. 2 USAF search and rescue teams, one from Nellis, one from Tonopah Air Force Base, assisted. They knew the area and had maps I've never seen. They shared all but one map with us. Not sure what was on the classified map, but in all my years hiking and on search and rescue missions in the Sheep Range, I've never heard anyone speak of submarine tunnels. I haven't myself. J. Sylvia's responds, no, it was not local folklore of the area, it was something said by DJ Moore. Perhaps he could have been referring to those tunnels. Besides submarine tunnels specifically, for Gene to highlight that there are certain tunnels out there now sealed and military have used them, could any of it link on or correlate to the mineshaft which Kenny Veach was at? and that there was once underground tunnel networks down there which linked onto these tunnels. You never know, but you can turn a disused mine shaft into something much more mysterious and deeper. But a thing that doesn't look out of place and looks very natural in the environment, deep down could be used for completely other reasons which would stand out if visible on the public surface level, which that's not the case. And whilst it may not be used anymore, were any of them used around the time when Kenny Veach was around before he went missing? Because Gene said just a few years ago, one of them was sealed up. So could that particular one time with Kenny Veach and the mine shaft? It does make you think. And as I said, Susan Veach has called out Gene and said this is a fake person claiming to be a part of search and rescue. But you know what? You just got to listen. You don't have to internalize. You just take it into mind. Even if this person is a fake, the details that they give, the effort that they put in to present themselves in somewhat of a professional manner is interesting. But, some people will go further than others to try and convince others. It would be a shame if that really was the case here. You just got to be skeptical. But it's just interesting how it says during the search for Kenny in 2014 and 2015. I was never aware of a search for Kenny in 2015, only that, the general public volunteer like Sean Hallacker was the first to go out there in 2015 when searching. But it was in 2014 of November 22nd when over the course of a few days, searches were done, and then that was it. And then it was kind of forgotten about. But how Gene words it here, there was more searches done. And as well, over time, to do with other missing person cases roughly in the area. So how many missing people are truly out there? And did they all go missing under the same circumstances of Kenny Veach? Because if so, there could be a very dark pattern going on. Besides that, a few more conversations continue on. Gene Lukowski to Jeff. Few people use their real names on YouTube. And that might be why when Susan tried reaching out to the Red Rock commander about the name Gene Lukowski, they didn't ring a bell. Beside that, Gene says, Red Rock Search and Rescue know me and sent me inquiries about my YouTube name. I provided coordinates. Just because you cannot understand them isn't my fault. Now, the only coordinates that I'm aware of by Gene, I believe, is like 2 or 3 of them. 2 of them were around Hayford Peak onwards, north of Wild Horse Pass. Kind of like what we looked at in recent time when a random viewer on my channel said, hey, check these locations out, and they were close to the coordinates provided by Gene, and the coordinates were to do with a campsite where an abandoned tent was found, 2 of them spread about on the peaks. Beside that, the other coordinates given by Gene Lukowski was Blackgate Canyon, which is kind of east of Little Jomay Canyon, and that's where a femur bone was found previously, I believe in 2021, and the leader was called Kenneth Yeager. Looking for another missing person, a private search conducted. Later turned out the femur bone was animal. So it wasn't that big of a deal at the end of the day, but the fact that they were looking for a missing person out there and it was private and it wasn't Kenny is a bit unusual. Because the area doesn't receive that many people, especially back when Kenny was alive, so who would be going out there and for what reason exactly? The same reason for Kenny? Beside Kenny Veach, was there ever anyone in the past that encountered the MK, but they just didn't talk about it online public? And that they just quietly went back out trying to search for it and things went wrong? It makes you think. But beside that, Gene says, just because you cannot understand them, I spoke with one family member by phone just 15 minutes ago. I will not get into an online argument or debate on mundane and trivial questions. Red Rock Search and Rescue did our jobs. Kenny Veach is not in the sheep range. What happened to him is a mystery. Considering that Red Rock normally and have remained very tight-lipped, for this member or so to outright say Kenny is not in sheep range, as in Little Jomay Canyon, where is he then? Is he even out there in the first place? Gene says, I've told others my personal beliefs. The family has their opinions on what happened to Kenny. If you want to go on a wild goose chase, so be it. Have fun, stay safe. Jeff's response, if it isn't your fault that no one understands your unique coordinates, then you have added exactly nothing to the understanding for current searchers. you may as well not say anything at all with that attitude. Providing information without providing clarifying details is beyond pointless, causing confusion. Jay Chuck is out there right now, and I'm sure he would be interested in which areas were already professionally searched. Because then it means Jay Chuck wouldn't have to risk his life doing it, and he could search elsewhere where it's not been previously done. And was the search in a ravine or serpentine, one walking behind another, like Silverheels says? Or was it a shoulder-to-shoulder search, hand in hand? Until the public understands such details, the original search will always be in doubt. This is the first I have heard you state Kenny Veach is not in sheep range. That is a definitive statement. So if he's not out there, did he just double back on himself? Because his scent was out there, which could imply he was out there, but he's not been found out there. And if he's not found out there, then he can't be there, based on the attitude by Gene Lukowski, considering his scent ended at the mineshaft and it didn't go any further. And he wasn't in the mineshaft either, and it was an open site. So unless he just double-backed on himself to then be picked up. Gene doesn't give that theory, just that they feel that Kenny's just not out there. It's very, very interesting. Maybe we can do a map analysis of it at some point. So Gene says, Red Rock Search and Rescue released through the Clark County Sheriff's Office the entire report, which listed all the UTM grids, coordinates we used. There were some 60 different grids listed. I don't remember every single grid set. Lynn Gable was one of the civilian searchers who converted the UTMs to GPS grid sets. He did a video about 4 years ago. I just spoke with one of the former Red Rock coordinators. He said that in November 2014, Kenny Veach's family gave the sheriff department some locations that Kenny Veach hiked. Besides Joe May Canyon, the family mentioned Blackgate Canyon, Cow Camp Springs, Wagon Springs, Pine Nut Camp, areas along Mormon Wells Road and Hidden Forest Cabin. Those were the locations that the team searched. That's quite extensive. He doesn't remember the exact coordinates. As a team member, we obtained coordinates locations, developed a grid set to search. Remember, we didn't have any other information on Kenny back then, just his physical description, some basic history, and his knowledge of the area and hiking skills other than his cell phone battery dead. But Sean Hawker reached out maybe some months ago or a year ago to Red Rock, and he was told that the phone was charged. So maybe they found the battery dead, charged the phone afterwards, and then accessed his phone. As to what they did, who knows. And as it mentions here, and 63 cents in change, the loose coins. We found nothing more. Dogs were used and a helicopter was used, which had FLIR. It was the opinion of the sheriff department that Kenny might have staged the event as his disappearance. We didn't find him, and that was it. One thing you are missing is the many other people who searched the area after November 2014. It's my personal opinion that Kenny Veach staged the event and is still alive somewhere else. That's quite shocking to hear, of course, by a Red Rock Search and Rescue member, or was. As for everything that's mentioned there, is it the absolute truth? Who knows? But there's some familiar names which have popped up there. But you know what? When it comes to the likes of Blackgate Canyon, that rings a bell. Cow Camp Springs, Cow Camp Corral, Jeff Clark. Pine Nut Camp, more so Pine Nut Road, which Scott Natal went up. And SB Vegas Adventures went up and on when going to that giant X symbol, which was like some old satellite installation area. As for Hidden Forest Cabin, well, people have been up there a few times, like SB Vegas, Scott Natal, I believe. Didn't find anything then. Maybe the whole mention of the Hidden Forest Cabin links to Gene's point about the coordinates and where the abandoned tents were found over that way. But would Kenny be able to cover all that distance on foot to even get there in the first place? Likely not. Besides that, if we move on, Jeff's response. Interesting. That is some new information. However, Silverheels does have a point when he says that this all seems like a closed cult society that isn't interested in telling the public anything. If they were interested, they would coordinate with the leaders and create a public-friendly map with the search areas coloured in, instead of saying the cabin. It would show close to the exact areas checked around the cabin with so much rough ground to cover. Just saying, Jomay Canyon really doesn't help, as we don't know if that means a one behind the other hike up the canyon, which would be rather narrow, or a shoulder-to-shoulder sweep, the entire length, the width. The helicopter is new and interesting, as a live human would have lit that up on such barren terrain. Another issue is the confusion about the first news articles on the search. I'm sure that those said that no one searched the mine. They lowered the camera down there. Correct. I remember that because it was a huge issue early on as to why they didn't search the mine. That's what prompted me to go out there in the first place. However, the show, HLM, the SAR guy said that they're not allowed to search enclosed spaces. Oh, come on, really? So they handed the mine to another agency to search, but none of that matches the original news report. True. My issue with it is that the crystal skull and whether or not it was placed there by Kenny along with some message. Could the cell phone have just been a flag saying search this mine? If that was the case, that was a huge missed clue, as it seems to be gone now. Seems to be gone now. What, as for the skull, more so? Or literally the mine, 'cause it's been filled in since. What else do we have? Gene, you bring up excellent points. The mine was searched, but not by Red Rock. It was searched by a mine rescue team, cave dwellers. I wasn't there when that happened, although I have no proof of this. I was told that a cadaver dog was... a caver dog was lowered into the mine. An actual dog. Huh. Not sure if that happened in November or later. I didn't hear about the crystal skull until later. I agree with the lack of exact coordinate reference, Jomay Canyon. I was on that team. I could estimate the coordinates, but that would be guessing. The search and rescue teams were relying on second-hand information since everything was coming through the Sheriff Department in November 2014. Nevada Highway Patrol helicopter was there on the third day, to the best of my knowledge. Jeff's response. So you see the issue. Jomay Canyon is quite wide. A single file line of searchers heading up it is much different than a shoulder-to-shoulder sweep at the whole length. It is the difference between an ink pen line on the map and a paintbrush. If whoever led that search could colour in Jomay Canyon from the edge to edge, top to bottom, and say it was all gone over, that would definitely rule it out. Same for other areas. No one expects search and rescue to cover every inch and such terrain, but knowing more would help current and future searches as to what to check and what not. I just hope the crystal skull was not a missed clue, because if it's no longer there anymore, you're never really going to be able to trace it back or understand, especially if there's other stuff there too. Now, we partially move on to Really Robin, which I think is the original Really Robin. Correct me if I'm wrong, Jeff Clark. Really Robin said, the skull was just a warning. Jeff's response, maybe, but what if Kenny put it there and it had a message with it that was missed by search and rescue? That thing only looks to be about the size of a golf ball based on the size of the photo, so it could have been missed. Who else would climb down into the mine just to leave a warning? It might still be laying on the ground at the bottom of the mine with a message. Really Robin's response, there is a secret entry to that mine. I won't reveal it yet. Well, likely, this is probably the fake Robin, based on that response about, I won't reveal it yet. Because when Robin, the return Robin, the fake Robin, talked about how he was going to go back there, record it, and show what was inside of the mine shaft, as for the tunnels, as for where they were, maybe even revealing them or something. And then I think that's what sparked Robin emailing me about that trip, saying how he's going to go out there to record it as proof. And if nothing happens, something happened to him. And then that's what came with the follow-up BS response about being pushed off a mountain and recovering in hospital, as the so-called father claimed under Robin's email account. Seems like it was set up, planned. BS, but planned as in a story time. There could well be fill-ins and entries within the mine. Natural, normal, or eventually reused by military or something else in a darker way. But about I won't reveal it yet, this is the problem with the so-called return of Robin, constantly stalling. Oh, there's a time to everything. There's a process. Got to delay it. Got to drag it out. Treat it like breadcrumbs. What good does that do? On the inside, you could understand things may not be able to be rushed if you're not allowed or given the heads up to reveal information or facts. But considering that really Robin appears to be the one with the knowledge, this so-called Robin, and has been out there or is able to, and they're delaying it or was at the time and never actually got round to showing it or even doing a video, what was the point? Wasting time? Moving on. Jeff, okay, so we're close. You were in the sheep range and your anomaly is close to what we thought you meant. You were in one of those steep western canyons, but we're not sure which one. Atari found a strange rock in your video and we tried to relocate it. This is in the early days of when trying to figure out where Robin, the supposed original Robin, had been, right? Robin responds, I'm going there soon. I'm going to document it. Watch for the upcoming clues. See, the problem with that is Jeff is inquiring about the location based on the original hike video by the original Robin. And whilst Jeff's trying to work it out as for getting clues and knowledge on the location, this so-called Robin, the fake one, ends up saying, I'm going to go out there. Not I'm going back out there, but I am going out there soon. Which could imply you're going out there for the very first time. And if this is the supposed original Robin claiming to be the original, you wouldn't be just going out there, you would be returning back and documenting it. But why do you need to return back, or why do you need to go there soon to document it when technically the original Robin had documented it? Unless this so-called Robin was referring more so to investigating that anomaly, the rock symbol up the canyon, which had the M symbol translation on it, which Atari picked up on. And Robin was like, yeah, I'll go back there and I'll record it, I'll show it and add more. But for Robin to say, watch for the upcoming clues, who the hell does that? Other hikers since, like SB Vega's Adventures, mentions about, I'm going to go here, I'm going to go there, recon mission, we're going to check out a new area, stay tuned. What SB does is good. He builds the interest. He doesn't give too much away because it doesn't want to be ruined or spoiled, and sometimes doesn't want to give too much away because you never know, there might be some dodgy people out there that might try and time it and intervene when SB's out there. You got to do it for your own safety. But once the video has dropped, it's a long video, SB explains where he is, he pans the camera around so you get a good vision, a better understanding of where SB is or could be. As for really Robin, originally didn't provide an explanation, and the follow-up response by the return of really Robin, the so-called fake one, is saying, I'm going to document it and watch out for clues. Why do we need clues? Just tell the location, just give the coordinates. It's like SB at times where it's like, you know what is this area? Is this the location? And then SB's responded and said, yeah, that's it, or here's the coordinates. That's all you have to do. But this so-called Robin seems to turn everything into a game of guess who, a game of hot and cold, all about clues, all about breadcrumbs, all about dragging things out and wasting people's time. Kind of crossing on over with Sharon Pilgrim and her attitude. It's not a good look. Jeff's response, that is a crazy hike and climbing. You have to back out of those chutes if you are not roped in or you're going to, hurt yourself. It's almost impossible to come back down those if it gets too steep and stops you. Don't do that same route. J-Chuck is camping out there right now and is training himself for special forces. So just tell us where your flat top is and he'll go up there and film it for you, but not by your same route. And Jeff says, holy shit, you did a massive hike for your first time out there. Very dangerous. See, this is the thing. Trying to understand the context of this comes across as if Jeff Clark was commenting on the original Really Robbins YouTube channel of the original hike. But it could also translate to Jeff Clark commenting on the fake Really Robin that did the re-upload in 2022, I think, of the original Robin original hike. It gets a little bit messy. Nevertheless, it's already happened previous. Jeff Clark's reflecting on it, wanting to know the location so then he can do it himself or anyone else onwards. And that's what happened. It was a success. Location was found, but it wasn't through Really Robin cooperating. Not a chance. It was through Jeff Clark, Jay Silvers, anyone else in between trying to work it out visually from footage to on maps, trial and error. Jeff Clark going out there one time, a fishhook burn, went up the wrong canyon. It was the one after it, which Jeff did at a later point, I think 2022 onwards, and when he smashed his foot with the rock. So with that being in mind, with trial and error, finally got there, but it could have been made a lot easier if Robin had communicated and cooperated more clearly. Whether that be the original Robin or the so-called fake Robin, it would have been so much easier if there was communication. But as usual, there's a lack of it. And then the one here, Really Robin says, "You're wrong about this, J. Chuck Vlogs." Well, you have your opinion, and Robin says that's a fact. J. Chuck, it is a rock. Feel free to believe anything you want. And Really Robin says, I put it there. A rock. Oh no. Don't tell me this is to do with that M symbol rock, because it ain't just a rock, it's a boulder. If Really Robin's truly claimed to have put it there, it does become a bit of a running joke. So supposedly, Robin was the one to place the skull in the mineshaft. Robin was the one to put the pen drive in the mineshaft. Robin was the one to bring a giant boulder up the canyon or something and place it there, based on how I interpret what's on screen. It's crazy. And what's this one? Dogma Erased. These videos are so ridiculous. Just get that off for a second. Why is it? Get off. Yeah. In 2010, I was in the mineshaft where Kenny's phone was found. The bottom right of the shaft was, or has, about a 30-yard tunnel with crumbly rock that was hollowed out at the end. Now, when you go down there, the tunnel is collapsed. It's pretty obvious that Kenny went down there to explore and the tunnel collapsed on him. It even says, "Rest in peace, Kenny," on the collapsed wood. If you dig out the collapse, you'll find him. All the other theories and videos people make. 3 months ago, I don't know if that's truly 3 months ago or older, Dogma refers to a plank of wood, collapsed wood, and it reads, "Rest in peace, Kenny Veach." I mean, not for it to get too confusing, all I will say is, if you're talking about outside of the mineshaft, just east, very nearby to the mineshaft, near to that bush vegetation, there was that supply cache which was created, I think, in 2022 onwards, in which J. Chuck caught on camera in 2024. And that supply cache had food, water under some planks of wood. And one plank of wood, which was from the mine shaft, I think, said, "Rest in peace, Kenny Veach." But that plank of wood wasn't inside of the mine shaft to hint or suggest that Kenny's in there. It was just a random plank of wood to honour Kenny Veach, and it was on the outside. So I don't know if Dogma's got confused with that, or if Dogma is genuinely saying that somewhere in the mine shaft there was wood which read, "Rest in peace, Kenny." How strange is that? But of course, this whole situation with the mine shaft is rather awkward now and not possible, because it has well and truly been filled in by the DNWR due to Susan Veach. So we can still refer back to these in the future, likely. Dogma's add-on comment was, "I've been in there before the collapse. It's obviously a collapse. Maybe you'll figure it out if you get off YouTube and dig it out yourself." Of course, it's obvious you won't do that. Try not to be so clueless and close-minded. You're probably just another one of those YouTubers trying to exploit someone's death for attention, probably using that M-Cave nonsense just to stir up more uneducated garbage. Well, if Dogma is calling Jeff Clark out for that, and Jeff Clark's only made about 10 or 15 videos, and then there's me that's made 500, oh my goodness. Yeah. But look, the reality is, Jeff Claus here for the interest of the M Cave mystery more so, and then partially Kenny Veach because of the links to the military and the disappearance aspect, of course. No harm in being interested in the case and doing videos. No problem with that. It spreads awareness, it keeps things alive, and it's for personal interest as well, and can be shared amongst other people too. The thing is, some of these people that come along that may be knowledgeable or know more or have done more or have done something at some point previous, before or after Kenny, they tend to have a bit of an attitude issue. And that doesn't come across too well. It doesn't translate well when you're trying to get a point across. You want people to believe in you or what you say or know. If you come across with an attitude like this, I don't think people are going to listen or give you the time of day. And their response can be, well, it's their loss. It is what it is. Still not the best attitude to have. Why do people have to be this way? It's unusual. Now, if we put that aside, what you're looking at on screen right now is the Unhinged M-Cave Kenny Veach hiker investigator known as Jay Silverheels, who has also had some run-ins with the Jeff Claw, who you've already seen before with the run-ins with Robin, Susan Veach, etc. So this is more of a light-hearted thing, just in case you're wondering. If you do want to rewind back to the more serious, important stuff, feel free to rewind back. But this is just to change things up a little bit. We've got some former screenshots, archives of what Jay Silverheels was like at times, and it stood out. But some, a bit of a taste tester. These are some previous videos that have been done. The M-Cave Hiker's Lover's Tiff. Jay Silverheels' meltdown over old maps. The most feared hiker has returned. M-Cave drama, the Claw Wars. M-Cave hiker Jay Silverheels determined. Mojave Desert logbook outrage, when Jay Silverheels says, oh man, I'm going to burn down that logbook which Sean Horlacher bent over and wrote in, burn it to the ground and destroy it all. Jay Silverheels was willing. The 2021 award, the craziest Kenny Veach investigator, Silverheels. Jay Silverheels found new Kenny Veach information. And, of course, the one and only, when the likes of Jeff Claw, J Chuck Vlogs was accused by Jay Silverheels as being penguin worshippers to the one Sean Horlacher. The penguins with their long pecking beaks and, looking up. I don't know why Jay Silverheels' face was applied onto a woman's body, but moving on. So, I'll zoom in for this so you can see it a little bit more. Where do we begin? Jay Silverheels' channel. It was a long time ago, but I pointed out that Sean marketing and selling hikes up to the area, which is fine. Jeff Claw says, your opinion again, that is not Sean's website. He was never charging people to go on hikes. That's all in your imagination. Just like your hole-in-the-wall M-Cave and really Robin's flat top. Jay Silverheels. It's no wonder he went missing, cast into the lake of forgotten fire with wrath. Oh my God. You think I burn in the eternal pit of fire, man? Yeah, right. Warlock Wrath is burning in the lake of fire because he's the hottest free agent about, man. Yeah, hottest individual about. No wonder why males get so threatened and sexually frustrated when Warlock Wrath is too close to the screen. 4D type behavior. Almost like cinema, breathing down people's necks, and the male's thinking, oh my God, this is too close to my own comfort. I'm getting a little bit turned on right now. Just like Jay Silverheels' hiking poles. They're real stiff and need oiling up. All right, we need to calm ourselves down because it's already getting a little bit wild. But there's no time to breathe. Jay Silverheels, after a year... oh my God, it must be the desert. It's real dry. After years of suffering, I put those fucking things on. I barely walked in the REI. I knew the suffering was over. I felt it instantly. I rose up. This is the second coming of Jesus Christ, where he rose up and gave out eggs to the rabbits. Oh my God! Giving out the eggs to the rabbits. That's so kind and thoughtful. Really good charity work going on back down there. Shout out to Jesus Christ and Jay Silverheels, one of the three wise men. He's not quite that wise. He turned about the wrong crib. Oh, Jay Silverheels, what are you doing, man?
Yeah, there wasn't any room in the inn. There wasn't any room for the donkeys because Jay Silverheels stuffed them all into the backhand, decided to fire the gun off, and then Jesus lost his mind. And then the Rock came tumbling down, chasing Jay Silverheels down like Indiana Jones. No wonder why his boots are in a complete mess. That's what I have to say about those boots. I think we need to do a deep analysis on that, Jay Silverheels. And in addition, I tell you now, when I took a few steps, I told them, I am born again. Let Jesus check me out. Is that so, Jay Silverheels? You're born again. Let's not forget, put aside Christ for a second. You're the one, Jay Silverheels, that talks about you're going to climb up that mountain, you're going to climb up that hill, you're going to zigzag in and out, you're going up and down, and when you get to the top, you're going to shout out loud, I'm on top of the world, man! I'm Muhammad Ali in the name of we the people. I'm ready again. I'm ready to keep on hiking. You remember that? Muhammad Ali, Jay Silverheels, the reincarnation of that, bobbing in and out, ducking and diving. What's that? Fly like a donkey, sting like a crocodile. Yeah, man. J-Chuck vlogs. I've gotten spiked in the foot by needles several times, limped to a rock to remove shoe and needles. Yeah, we've got more experience now. We got SB Vegas Adventures Steve, and it was all about getting pricked by cactuses. He's gone through over 1,000 shoes because of that. Moving on. Oh, God. That's a lot to read out. Give me a second to breathe. Right, Jay Silvio says, correct, and I'm glad you got that information from Raph, and not me, even though I have been saying it for months, but you worded the statement a bit funny. It doesn't seem probable he's still alive. I mean, he agrees dead up there, or did you write it wrong? You mean you agree the odds are dead? Just thank you again for giving credit to Raph. I just want to thank Raph, yeah, even though you called me out at the same time. Even though such as one upload he did months ago, Becky copied my statements. Is that so? Then he uploaded that and had a grand awakening that Kenny Veach lied about the M-Cave. Oh. And then, Raph uploads good graphics, but on the subject of Kenny Veach, keep in mind he only parrots what we say in upload. Oh, sounds like a broken record, because that's all humans can say about Warlike Raph over time, from true crime as well. Petty-ass individuals. Yeah, my name is Warlike Karen, and I would like to do a report and file invent, because I think Warlike Raph is not original. He keeps copying all the information and keeps going all around. Jesus Christ, what do you think people do at universities, colleges, and schools? Research and get information material from somewhere, from elsewhere. It originates. There's an origin somewhere. It's got to come from somewhere in the first place. Jason Silvio, you need to understand that. And as well, Silvio says, keep in perspective, Raph is great at what he does, but his strongest asset with Veach's was to cozy up to family members. Then wrap himself with a few secret photos, as if the family members were up on his final hike, which they certainly was not. He says, well, now, if it just so happens Atari and Susan Veach email me, that's fine. I don't care if they send pictures of Veach in a baby crib. Oh, goodness. It does not solve the mystery. It's not a cult of personality as to who looks the best or does masterful uploads. Virtually every word he has since day one was wrong. It's no nipple contest, man. Fully clothed, not a fashion sense either. What's this all about? Cozying up to family members. Warlike Raph wrapping himself up in bed. What is this? I don't be wrapping myself up in bed with anyone. Any strangers, of course. Yeah. What else? Oh, Jeff Clark. I did not such thing about... Oh, yes. Important point by Jeff Clark. I did no such thing about no penguins. I had uploaded stuff and it gave me a rest that I was rightfully banned. Only from uploading, not because of Veach, but I posted the US. Should have nothing to do with Ukraine. However, my uploads on Veach were getting way out of hand, and I deserved for them to kick me off for a while. Kick me in the ass! As far as your crap, that's just what is crap, except for your hikes. J. Silverheels. Your statements to join the French Foreign Legion clearly shows you're falling off the wagon and started back at drinking again. Oh my God, Jeff Clark drinking again. Back to those AA meetings. And the thing is, Jeff Clark doesn't go through the front door. He goes around the back exit and realizes it's locked. He gets the ladder and climbs through the window because that's what logical people do. Jeff Clark is more level-headed than a spirit level is on a building construction site. My God, it's off the wagon. It's going to blow up any second. Jason goes, yeah, for a factory worker. To go in drunk or hungover, that's one thing, but if you're a lawyer, that is quite different. Why are we talking about lawyers all of a second, J. Silvio's? Got an open and shut case. I've dealt with some people here and now that say that they've got a lawyer. I've dealt with the odd person that says, I plead the fifth. Oh, do you plead the fifth? What else are you pleading? Are you pleading for forgiveness? Are you pleading for me? Oh, I bet you are, you naughty individual. And Jeff Clark, Ref. Sorry, Jeff, I almost did a Jay Silverhill's voice. That must be an insult for you. Ref gave you a TKO and YouTube saw that and gave you a timeout. Now you come back awake and started posting fake news again. I never said I was a lawyer. More fake news. The next time you'll see Jay Chuck, he will be in the French uniform, drinking wine and smoking long cigarettes. The thing is, Jay Chuck did go to Paris, or wherever it is, and he went to the French Foreign Legion quarters, went knocking on the doors, and he was denied. And that's very unfortunate for Jay Chuck. But besides that, we've got penguins, we've got lawyers. Silver Hills, if only I had gone into Veach even 5 years ago, you slimy creep. Oh, goodness, Jeff Clark's been called a creep now. It's just getting even more crazy. And what now? Jay Silvio's, with Raph's money plus being connected with his goon henchman Jeff Clark, Raph being royally with unlimited assets, how do we know they have not contracted a hit? Contracted a hit? Oh, I'm sorry, yeah, Warlike Raph is a part of some kind of syndicate and the leader of it all. Yeah, Warlike Raph, unlimited royalty with his red royal robe, Emperor of Rome. Some people on the sideline, including me and Maven, has classified Warlike Raph as the reincarnation of Julius Caesar, and Tasha in the background has claimed that I come from Pompeii. I rose from the ashes, man. I came right through the volcano and the hole was real tight, but my head popped on through and it broke all the rocks and it caused mass destruction all around, man. J. Silvio's gonna be very careful because, as you said, Warlike Raph, the hottest agent out there with a massive head as well. It's a good thing that I read that clearly, because when I first read it out by Jay Silvers, I thought it said, do we know if they have contracted a HIV? I read it like that at first, but I had to reread it and it says hit instead. And Jay Silverhills, here's how I view it playing out. Scott Nadal shows up at the door and knocks. I know what it is, but answer. Nadal says, only businessman had to do it. Thanks for your hikes. And mows me down like the Godfather style. Yeah, I remember that from last time. Get mowed down. He says I had to do it. Ref directed me. You're gonna die anyway. Then I said, what about the sword? I must got there first. You know why, J. Silvers, you didn't find the sword? Is because you sat on it already. Yeah, it's been embedded like King Arthur's sword, set in stone, rock solid. But in this case, J. Silvers, it's rock solid because of the fucking asteroids and hemorrhoids where the sun doesn't shine, J. Silvers. Why did you sit on it in the first place? Could have sat on a cactus instead, or you could have even sat on a mule or a donkey. But then again, you get all petty about it, wouldn't you? Yeah. And RT says, also, a woman in the landscape. Okay. And J. Silvers, I'm the only one of the persona that subscribes. I have to be careful. They're not out to kill me. No one is out to kill you, J. Silverheels. I think more people are scared that you're going to kill them. My goodness. Moving on. Is this the same one? Oh, here we go. Here we go. Jeff Clark. You've accused Really Robin of wanting to stab you. Oh no, I remember this one. J. Silvers originally thought that Really Robin was going to get a knife and do a pumpkin carving on J. Silverheel's chest and carve an M symbol on it. You've accused DJ Moore of wanting to shoot you with a moose gun. Oh yeah, I remember that, the moose gun, and massive. And now this, you have a persecution complex. J. Silvers, whoa, you gotta realize I'm simply joking about all this shit right now. I've switched to Billy the Kid. Oh, you switched to Billy now? Silly Billy. Jeff Clark, so you're back to joking again. Yeah, we have a complex situation here. What's this one? Kenny Veach, Really Robin's Martian rock with Martian symbols on it. I'm calling out Jeff Clark a liar. He did not go up there twice and said nothing. I didn't mean a mistake about the area landscape. I was calling him a liar. He did not give it there twice or even first time, man. Is that really so? What did Jeff Clark have to say? So answer question one instead of just saying it as a lie. If I did not hike to the flat top twice, why do I share those hike videos on my channel? Lol. Fake news. That's true about J-Chuck disagreeing with me, asking if we agree with alligators or dinosaurs. Oh no, not the dinosaurs. First, Raph was royalty, and I was his henchman. Now I am ordering Raph around about what videos he should make. Yeah, damn right, Jeff Claus screaming down my ear, demanding for videos to be made exactly. Which is it today? Everything else you said is bullshit. And then we've got that other dodgy individual present there, which gives PTSD. Jay Silvios to Jeff.
There are 2 videos at separate times interwoven. I claim trickery.
Does that sound? Oh no, trickery. With the magic fast hands, sleight of hand action by Jay Silvios, he's turned into a magician now. Oh god. Don't make me disappear. And Jay Silvios,
I just want to see where he went back up there. Twice, unless in the first video he interwove separate hikes and put on video.
Ain't buying it. There'd be no reason for him to go up there twice. I'll eat an entire shit sandwich. No way he did go up there twice based on his upload. I think that sandwich is suitable enough, Jay Silvios. And then it just continues on. Now to DJ Moore. Jay says,
That's bullshit. I certainly did not.
I'm very logical in my statements. Logical in statements. Is that so, Jay Silverheels? Really? Wow. Jay says,
Anyway, that would be appreciated. Actually, I don't remember every word what Jeff Claus' statement was. Total victory, and no matter what was said, it shows that
I was right on it pertains to know I saw it. I do not get enraged. It's not in me. Oh, that's not in you. So you're a calm, peace-loving individual. And Jeff's point here, look at what I posted in his submarine video. There's a paragraph from an article I found on the subject, Silverheels.
Also, I don't believe you saw a rattlesnake up there at all. My gut feeling for you is a liar.
Note your lying statement. I almost got bit by a rattlesnake just east of your flat top. I'll do an upload now. I remember the times when Jay Silvios would do a prime time upload, doing it immediately, setting it in stone. Kenny Veach, Jeff Clark, exposed again as a liar and a fake. Bloody hell, Jeff Clark.
I want Jeff Clark to start a Patreon for me to donate for the sheer pleasure he is giving me to expose his fake. As people check it out, they will find once again the fucker's right.
So supposedly, Jeff Clark is pleasuring Jay Silverheels in more ways than one. Wow. No words. No words whatsoever.
And Jay Silverheels, don't go into detective work. He knew it was the MK and filming it, and for advanced reasons you cannot comprehend. It's not in you.
Is that Sam? When the subject in question specifically says it's not like these, that is about a conclusion that you can give. It's not those little holes. He could have just filmed them as he walked past and said nothing about what he did do. He intentionally denounced them in order to rule them out. That is conclusive no in my book. And Jay Silvios says,
don't go into detective work. You need the MKB.
Yeah, all that shit again. Jeff Clark. Coming from the guy who still thinks that a mountain-sized flat top is just a rocky outcrop, and who still thinks there are no rattlesnakes in the area, and who still thinks no one has searched above the mine. You realise Jeff Clark is a snake charmer out there. He makes the snakes dance. Okay. In addition, watch Silverheels' latest video and you'll get GPS from his pin. I know that the rock is out there, but you will never believe it unless you get to those exact coordinates. Plant flag like top of Everest. Oh goodness, Jeff. Don't be talking about Mount Everest if J-Chuck is around. The little secret diary of J-Chuck and the Love Book will open up to Nelia, the Mount Everest tour guide, former Russian model Nelia.
Hello, Nasta Privyet. Здравствуйте, mi droga. Hello, my name is Nelia. I like to hike mountains. I like to go up mountain tops. I'm a Mount Everest tour guide. Yes, it's been a long time. I like not being comprehensive. I do not understand English, so I decide to speak in broken English, and I just cannot be bothered. Sometimes I don't even translate my language. I know I give Jeff Clark an aneurysm, and it's just not my problem. Yes, I am a real woman, and everything is natural about me, but you could explore if you really want. But, you know, I'm sure J-Chuck is out there wondering what is going on. Well, don't worry, Nelia has it all fine and under control, whilst also harassing Warlike Graf by sending hundreds of emails in 2 days.
Is that Sam? Interesting, very interesting, Jeff Clark. And how's it that you know The Rock is not there? Where's he gone? Oh, God. How you could cross it off. Because I've personally been there twice. I know that really Robin's flat tops and cannot stick out anyway. Jason goes, I'll be waiting at the visitor center. Oh, yeah. I'll be waiting at the visitor center with a big cream pie to throw in your face. For a full video if he does go up there. And Jeff Clark got it right, and Jay Silverheels never put the big cream pie in his own face. Shame on him, he's not joining the circus. And we got a couple of more here. Jay Silverheels says to me, this was on my YouTube channel, and I pinned Jay Silverheels' comment. Jay says, don't forget the nukes are coming to the UK. You'll be first. I can. And Jay Silverheels also says, you, Warlight Ref, are a rapist. You should not include shots nor videos about my mechanic stuff. I was raped. What? It is unholy what you've said against me, even though I've done repeated uploads complimenting you. You sleep in your own bed tonight, man. I know I will sleep well. To be honest, I would hope to think that I'm sleeping in my own bed in the first place. I don't know what the fuck you're thinking of. Jesus Christ, if I wake up in the middle of the night, I turn my head and I realise that there's a backpack and there is a hat there, I'm going to have nightmares. What is going on? It was bad enough when Cleo decided to make conspiracies that Warlight Ref was hiding a woman under a bed, even though the bed was reaching the ground level, man, and you could hide nothing under there. And now Jay Silverheels is calling this out. He was raped as a mechanic. What did he have? A wrench wrapped around him in the wrong place? A loose nut or bolt unscrewed when it shouldn't have been done without consent? Excuse me, what's going on? Do you need re-oiling, Jay Silverheels? Or you need a full MOT? I mean, you need a full checkup there because some of your points aren't making sense. The numbers don't lie. And as for the nukes, well, after years passing by, it ain't happened, Jay Silverheels. Sorry to disappoint you. And what do we have here? A person called Mac. I sat and watched you berate a Kenny Veach family member in comments and called her a liar. Where are you, Jay? You're making up more accounts. Come, Jay, the shit you talk is priceless. And Jay Silverheels says, you are a twin about no account or content. You have no identity. You have other account traces to Pee Wee Herman. Says by Jay Silverheels, the one that's got a dodgy profile picture of a female holding a wonky eye besides the person's real eye. It's not even you, Jay Silverheels, you impersonating. And as well, I never would do such a thing. You need to put on some lipstick. We know how you got into this. Why is your account secret with no identity? Because you're likely a transvestite. Set by Jay Silverheels with a female profile picture, and he's actually a male. Yeah, that's very rich, that. Talking about red lipstick, thank God that wasn't aimed at me, because there was another person down the line that made false accusations that Warlight Ref had red lipstick on.
I think it's now time to take some deep breaths in and out. Whether you need counselling or a therapist, that's all under control. If you need inspections, the doctor is present too. And if you're confused, just rewind back to the beginning where the main stuff is at, as for the Kenny Veach case. But this is just to highlight that, yes, it's light-hearted and funny, but there are some odd comments by Jay Silverheels too, and claims made, false claims about Warlight Ref, of course. Yeah, unusual. But it just goes to show that when it comes to the Kenny Veach MK case, all kinds of behaviour and people can appear and be attracted to the case. It's about keeping it under control, and clearly back then it was not under control whatsoever. It was like an asylum broken loose. But if I come across Jay Silverheels again and if he acts out, the Warlight Ref Matrix program will be implemented, even if it's before dark. Indeed. But it just goes to show that whether the person was like this to begin with or not, sometimes cases and mysteries can change people and not always for the better. Whether it's just online coverage or in real life hikers like Jay Silverheels, people can change. Really, Robin changed in behaviour in a certain way. And at a certain point, Sean Horlacker did as well. Atari did to some extent. Susan, in a way. All these different people changing in behaviour and kind of like a bit unexpected. So what's the factor causing it? Is it one key one? Does it all link to all the different people? Or is it just separate random stuff happening? You never know. It's a bit hit and miss, but I think one thing to acknowledge is, as long as you have one place, one community, one channel, which is like an anchor point where things stay somewhat the same, maybe a little bit boring, but just a little bit more stable. I think that's what's needed. Stability is needed just in general, anywhere, any place, any time, because it's lacked so often. With that being said, I will have some key videos coming out soon. I just wanted to get this one out of the way. It was a bit of a viewer requested one by Jeff Clark, so I thought I would add it in now before I move on to some heavier stuff. But some of those comments by Sharon Pilgrim or Jean can be looked to individually. Maybe even a map analysis, just put little markers here and there as to where things were supposedly searched. No harm in doing that. Still got the Frenchman Mountains, the Sunrise Mountains, and the areas of interest over there. So there's a range of different stuff that can be done, and eventually, just got to do it in a certain order, right? So it flows better. Some videos overlap. Some videos follow like a story, part 1, part 2, part 3. That's why I've got to do it in a certain order. But big shout out to the people that do watch. Big shout out to the people that have returned back watching and the patience, because even those that may have not watched for some time because I moved on to other stuff and it wasn't of their interest, the fact that people still came back, that patience is appreciated. And shout out to the people that have watched the live streams in recent time and those that have stuck around as long as they can when watching, because I know they are long. There will be short videos here and there, of course. It's just how things evolve and more material gathering with time and how it accumulates and how it can be referred back to in videos. It will naturally make videos longer. It's just that naturally there's a lot to talk about and unpack. With that being said, I hope you enjoyed the video, found it somewhat lighthearted too. You want to share it, hit the thumbs up like button, that'd be appreciated. And yeah, my name's Wallite Ref. I'll see you next time. Thanks for watching. Goodbye for now.